All right, I'm Trevor Whitman with Onyx Sports. Dwayne Bang Ludwig here. Baddest mofo on the planet.
Trying.
Yeah, my arm is still messed up from him. I still hold the top hat. You know, his pupils used to go sort of black when I go with him.
I was dedicated.
Chill out about it. I just gotta say that.
You gotta be smart.
Okay, so I want to talk about how I created the lay system through the X Factor glove. It came from pinching gloves in the professional boxing, kickboxing world. And we used to be able to get away with it. The reason why they stopped is what the commission had told me is when you pinch a glove, the tape would start to roll back and then the lace becomes exposed. You'd have to retape. So this is what pinching a glove means. So you remember when you had the 6-ounce gloves in for the K1?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
6-ounce Reyes,
Crazy,
dude.
right?
We couldn't even get these things to go together. Oh my gosh.
They're literally like winter mittens. There wasn't much to them.
More like oven mitts.
Yeah, they were, huh?
Yeah, they're freaking sweet.
Yeah.
So we cross like that. Now here's the pinching part where you come up high on the glove. I'm gonna have you.
Sorry, sir.
So come up here, and what you do is you tie one little piece here, and then you pinch this here. So you're gonna get a stability in the wrist that you won't get back here. So as you tie this,
That's solid.
so this makes the glove feel so much better because now you're getting support where it's needed. So if you ever see people who have their tape up real high in the glove and it looks like a little ball, that's what pinching is. And the reason why the commission is stop letting this happen is when you tape this and he starts to move his hand throughout a fight and his hand's moving up and down, this slowly starts to roll back because there's no place for it to hold. So then the laces start to become exposed. They stop the fight, put more tape on it. That is what I was told. Now, most gloves, when you wrap them up, they're not made for any type of wrist or hand stability. Now, when you're fighting, you want to be able to make sure you don't break your hands. It's an entertainment sport, you break your hand, there's not going to be a knockout. You're going to be pulling your punches. People want to see knockouts. So, when you tie a professional gun, normally, this is way back here on the wrist. Does nothing for your wrist support. It's just keeping the glove on, is all it's doing. Okay, so that's pinching the glove. I'm going to leave that here for real quick.
Sir.
And then, this lay system was created for the pinching. So how do you make a size better for your hand and your wrist and support?
That's just solid.
Okay, so now what I'm doing here
I feel like I don't need a wrap.
It's the best.
the point.
Yeah, it's the whole
I'm
key
jumping ahead, sorry.
is this is gonna get, I mean, first off our foam, you're never gonna feel your knuckle through there. Okay, so you don't need the extra knuckle padding.
Yes, sir.
One of my theories is why people hurt their hands with too much wraps. On professional wrap, you'll see it's like a little bar right here, open hand. I got strength squeezing on the one piece like this, okay? I start getting too much wrap there, I start squeezing like this, and then my contact point is my door knocking knuckles. And if I have to make that adjustment, not the slap, look at my wrist. I'm gonna start causing damage to my wrist. So
okay.
that is my theory behind it, and it's been proven through our testing, but these pieces right here is going to pull the glove in and support the hand. So when you see me pull on these yellow pieces here, it's going to lock his thumb in.
You almost need a video inside of what's going
I
on.
know, right?
I wish I had a broader vocabulary so I could explain what's happening, but so far it feels very supportive and tight. And when I first put my hand in here, I feel like I didn't need a wrap. Now it feels like I have an actual wrap on.
So these two pieces right here are the laces that go throughout the whole glove.
That's crazy.
Okay? This one's synced in to pull the glove in tight. Now these wings here was the issue that I would have with gloves. He's got a way thicker forearm than me, but I had spacing here. It's almost like me putting on a Shane Carwin boot. It just doesn't work. You know, if I put on the athletic shoes and try to hit a 50-yard dash with a Shane Carwin boot, okay, so these wings will now give the support of the wrist.
Yes, sir.
Where now I'm pulling behind the wrist and supporting all the padding on the wrist. So without even wrapping that around.
It feels like I have a wrap on. This is solid.
Yeah.
Wow.
Crazy, new technology. And again, kind of changing the ways. I remember the last real technology in the fight world from like a boxing or kickboxing glove is the attached thumb. Muhammad Ali used to go like this after fights. They attached that.
That was the last piece of a technological innovation was the...
And then Hayabusa has that double strap on the wrist. Very good. But it also doesn't have a breakable back. So you have a stiff back. As you can see these ribs right here, if you bend your wrist back, watch how that works, like almost like suspension.
Yeah. Wow. That is solid.
And the coolest part is the narrowness. The narrowness here for defense, one of my biggest issues with having a huge glove. I have small hands. My gloves would be this big. And when I go to block, you blocking everything.
Yeah, so saying that the gloves are them being so big, you can just do this and
Block.
protect yourself all the way around.
Now I
Where then
can
you have the
sneak
smaller
around.
fight gloves, it's going to be a bit more thinner, so they can slip around.
So this is a fight glove.
Yep.
Okay. This is a 16-ounce sparring glove. Very similar.
So if I may reiterate the point, it's like the training gloves were thicker, so they go ahead and do this, and these gaps are being filled, so they're protecting, but they're building a false sense of security because when they put on the actual fight gloves, and they go ahead and do that, now look at all the opening there is. So it's actually a false sense of security to protect yourself with bigger gloves, and then carry those habits into the fight, they're not going to translate. So excellent point there to make sure you have smaller wrists and actually more narrower of a glove. Excellent glove, coach. You're awesome.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Oh yeah. Onyx, baby.
Thanks.